Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. Hope you guys are well. It is a day. What is this, Wednesday, I think? Happy hump day. Hope you all get out there, get some consensual humping in and have some fun with it. How are you? There's a reason we're this late. But we're not going to talk about that. I'm here. I can't sleep. So let's talk, shall we? That's what I do when I can't sleep. It's like, hey, turn on the microphone and annoy people. I'm good at it. What do you guys think of yesterday's show? I got a lot of very good positive feedback from that, and I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed Mike. Been a fan of his for a while, and hope to have him back on the show soon because it was a fun conversation. I didn't want to stop it. I just had things I had to do. So, let's talk. You guys ever see something and it just kind of breaks your brain a little bit? Your brain just is like, no, this isn't right. This isn't how things should be. That happened to me just a little while ago. I finished playing Phasmophobia over there on Twitch with Bubba Hotep. Lots of fun. Great show tonight. Great hunts, although they were long ones. But I finished up and like, okay, we should do a show. And I go over to Twitter and I see a hashtag trending. The hashtag that's trending is, what is it? Stand with her. Standing for women. Hashtag standing for women. And I was like, oh, God, what the hell is this stupid shit? And then I looked at it and I find myself agreeing with the stuff that's in there, this feminist trope. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. And my brain just went, no. No. How the hell did we get so far out of whack that the feminists are making sense? How did that happen? What cosmic event shot weird ass rays down to this planet that made third wave feminists make some sense? Because they haven't changed their rhetoric. Reading the rhetoric, it's still almost exactly the same. Like I saw this one person talking about it, like, women deserve a space of their own. And my brain was like, yeah, because I get what you're getting at. But it wasn't that long ago that I would have argued against it for the simple reason that they don't let men have their own spaces. You know what I mean? The whole thing, we got to invade the men's spaces. And so I've had that argument before. Look, if you guys want your own spaces, we deserve our own spaces. Otherwise, go fuck yourself. But I never meant it in regards to bathrooms. I never meant it with regard to changing rooms at gyms and schools. And I meant it like, no, you can't have your little girls club if we can't have our boys club. You know what I mean? So the things just kind of shifted. They shifted and made feminists make sense. We deserve our own spaces where we feel safe. Like, yeah, if you're talking about bathrooms, absolutely. You shouldn't have to be worried about getting raped while you're sitting on the shitter. That's a t-shirt right there. You shouldn't have to worry about getting raped while you're sitting on a shitter. I have a way with words. But things have shifted so much that we deserve our own space stuff makes sense again. Again, I think if you're going to get your own spaces in the clubs and stuff, like we deserve our own too. You should have a cigar club where women aren't allowed and go form your own fucking cigar club. And you should be able to have women's ones where men aren't allowed. I think that should happen. But just a few years ago, that's not what we were talking about. Rumble. What about Rumble? Rumble's up. Should be up. It was going just a little bit ago. Anyhow, I catch myself agreeing with this stuff and I don't know how to process it exactly. The Overton window has shifted so much. You go back maybe 2 decades. I'm pretty solidly libertarian. And if you check today, I am pretty solidly right wing. And I haven't changed my views. Society's just gotten so far out of whack. And I really wonder how like liberals feel. People who have Bill Maher talks about this from time to time. Like, I haven't changed at all. You have, Dave. You have a little bit, Bill. Just saying. But I wonder how they feel because they have gone even further than I have. Like I said, I was strongly libertarian, where they were, you know, damn near Mao at the time, and now that isn't even enough to be left wing anymore. Because if you believe in simple things like biology, like oh, you're Hitler, they turn out to be communist, not liberal. Well, some of them, yeah, Eagle, some. I'm thinking of the ones who, yeah, Megan Kelly said the same thing. I'm thinking of the ones who, they're pretty solidly liberal and not actual commie, but liberal. They just, believe in a little more government uh, help, not control. Your classical liberal. I hate the term classical liberal. People online have ruined that whole thing because they're just too afraid to say that, yes, I have conservative leanings. But the those people, me and them still disagree on things, but we've been put almost in the same box because of a couple of things we agree on. It's that picture Elon posted where he starts in place and the political spectrum moves so far left. Yeah, I don't know where Elon got that from because I know I've seen it before I saw him ever post it. But yeah, that's the Overton window shift. It's where, okay, today let's go back 10 years. Women deserve their own places where men can't belong because that way uh, they can feel safe there. And in that case, they're talking about like their own gyms. That was the thing. They even wasn't there even a Curves? Was that the name of that female gym, the female only gym? So they can have their spaces where they feel safe. They don't have to worry about men being around and oogling them or ogling them or ogling them, whichever way you're supposed to say that word. And it was kind of ridiculous, but all right. And we shifted from that. If you agreed with that, you are now pretty far right because not only should a man in a dress be allowed to go into that place, they should be allowed to go into the locker room while you're in there naked and they can have their dick flipping around. That's how far things have changed. And it's actually been less than 10 years. It's been less than 5 years that this stuff has happened. And agreeing with feminists, it's not that I've never agreed with a feminist before, right? Especially if you're talking first wave or second wave. Third wave, typically not because they tend to be crazy. But they're right on this one. Again, because we're not just talking about a gym. We're not just talking about a social club. We're literally talking about them going to the bathroom, them being naked in shower rooms. I know, I feel like a woman. Here's my willy. In the past, if a man got into the women's locker room and was flashing his dick around, he would have been arrested for public indecency. Now it's like, don't say anything bad. That's actually a girl. And if you do anything wrong, we're going to protest. We're going to protest. How dare you not? How dare you not? Megan Kelly's been on fire for a while. Since Megan left NBC and started her own podcast when she came back with that, I think Megan's woke up a lot. And she even talked about it when she first came back. And I hope it's real. I don't know. I don't want to say I don't trust her, but it is very easy to grift these days. And she's gone back and forth. Given what she went through, I tend to give her the benefit of doubt. Because that's a woman who she went through some shit. And it was of her, I mean, her own making. She was the one that decided to have her little feminist bullshit with Trump instead of asking him about something serious. And so then she ends up, leaving Fox, and you have the whole Roger Ailes thing and somebody touching her butt or whatever happened there. And so she goes over to NBC where she's expecting to have just this cushy morning show so she can spend time with her kids in the afternoon. And what happens? She ends up basically getting fired for suggesting that kids wearing costumes is not racist if it's like on Halloween. Like, shouldn't somebody who's dressed up as a black person be allowed to have, black makeup on? Oh, you horrible white bitch. And then she had to do that horrible. Did you guys ever see her apology for that? Where she's like choking up as she's doing it. I didn't realize how much this was going to upset people. And I can't even do it justice. You can see she's like scared, like deathly afraid, reading this statement about how, oh my God, I'm sorry I suggested that a costume is a fucking costume. It's ridiculous what they made her do. And then they end up parting ways anyway, and she's out on her own. And yeah, whether you believe her or not, like I said, I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt because she's been through a lot of stuff. I hate that she literally lost her job for asking a question. True, yeah. Now, there's suggestions that there were other issues with her behind the scenes with NBC, and I don't know, because wasn't she one who brought up Matt Lauer's bullshit? His little rape office that he had, allegedly. Yeah, but yeah, they got rid of her over that stupid ass question. Anyway, I saw a video as I'm going through this Stand for Women hashtag, and I'm watching it, and and then something happens. Something happens that let's just watch it. Let's just watch it. I don't want to spoil the C prize. Hang on, it's a Twitter video, and sometimes with Twitter videos, you have to refresh them before you start playing them, because if you pause them too much, freeze the fuck up completely. Now, this is a British TV show. I don't know who these people are. Don't much give a fuck.
It's a video.
The lady on the left here, yeah, I know my left from my right, is talking with this guy, and they're going to be talking about a protest. Well, I mean, they explain it. I don't have to explain everything. I just talk too much.
What do you make? There's a video we're going to put on now. I don't know if you can see it. And it's protesters trying to shut women up speaking at a Let Women Speak rally in Hyde Park in London at Speaker's Corner, claiming to be trans act.
Speaker's Corner, for those of you who don't know, it's a place in London where you can go and you can get up there and you can give a little speech about whatever the fuck you want. It's like a tiny little free speech area of London. I don't know if they still have it as free as it used to be. I first learned of it, this is a true story, on Married with Children. In Married with Children, I think it's season 4 or 5. I think it might be 5. They go to London at the end of the season, and Al goes to Corner, and he gets up there and gives this speech about how much he hates women. Anyhow.
Men, large men, well, masked men, faces largely covered, standing with fists clenched, claiming to be from...
Looks like British vouch. You're not wrong.
Antifa and other, but with a trans, trans rights flags, shutting up women who want to speak about women's and girls' safety and women's and girls' rights. What do you make of that? Do you support those people, those men?
Well, you're not showing me the video.
Unfortunately, has it not loaded? Sorry, I'm on a delay on my my video screen. You might well have seen it. I've described it very accurately to you. Very 6-foot men, masked, holding their fists aloft, shouting at women.
I've got the idea. Look, people should be able to express themselves, and that means expression on all sides. And
pay attention to that. People should be able to express themselves. And that means people on all sides. Pay attention to the stuff that this asshole says until there's a shift in the conversation. I'll tell you when the shift is.
Expression sometimes is a bit messy and a bit ugly.
A bit messy. I mean, we got the video now. This man with his fist.
But I'm not going to sit here and defend every single person, because there will be extremists on all sides.
Another thing to keep in mind: I won't defend them because there's going to be extremists on all sides. Keep that in mind.
To take things too far. I do know the person you're talking about, Posey Parker, is a particularly nasty right-wing person.
A particularly nasty right-wing person. On what basis do you make that claim? She's not right-wing, and she's not nasty.
A lot of feminist organisations, particularly like Women's Space, have blocked from speaking because they know that she represents a strand of thinking that is not about being pro-women, but it is about being anti-trans and anti...
Okay, so what he's talking about there. This is what I was talking about just a little bit ago with the Overton window switch, and how now I find myself agreeing with feminists in some ways. All that they're saying, the women, it's just like the J.K. Rowling thing. There's a difference between the sexes. Keep dicks away from women. Just have that separation like we've always had in society. No. If you don't think that dicks should be in women's locker rooms, you're a bigot. You're a bigot. I fucking hate that shit. I'm getting really tired of it. But anyway, now I just want to reiterate what he said so far. Look. Speech is nasty sometimes. It even gets ugly. But hey, I'm not apologizing for people. Because look, there's extremists on all sides. Pay attention.
In what way is what way is she anti-trans?
I think it's perfectly understandable that she has a very
and he brings up that she's been, hey, there's women's organizations who won't let him around, or let Posey around. Sorry. Yeah. There's lesbian organizations that won't let lesbians in them because they're not on the trans. This is what we talked about yesterday on Rumble, and partially on here too with the alphabet agenda. You better be on the right side, or even if you're a lesbian going to speak at a lesbian event about a lesbian thing, you can be kicked off because a man claiming to be a lesbian thinks you're transphobic. That's what it is now. Of course, there's going to be women's organizations who won't let a woman in there. But she says things that are too extreme. Yeah, what's the extreme thing? She believes there's biology. That bitch. See, do you guys understand that that's what this argument is? Some of us believe in the science. Some of us believe in biology. And the other side's going, And then they'll go, oh, there's a study that proves that. Yeah, what's the study? Well, they asked some people if they felt trans, and they said they felt trans. So therefore, you guys are stupid. Therefore, it makes them actually biologically women or biologically men. No, it doesn't. That's fucking retarded. Hey, Satsu, I've never believed in the patriarchy more than I have today. You busy, homie? You want to hang out? Sorry I missed your call last night, dude. I was in bed trying to sleep. It's always my caveat. I told you that last night when, like, if I'm awake, I'm happy to play. But tonight, dude, rough day. All right, just a reminder. There's speech is messy, and there's stuff on both sides that are extreme. So he's not going to talk about the extremists. John, thank you so much. I won't accept the unacceptable. I agree.
Very controversial.
Alex, how you been, my friend? It's been a long time.
Standing,
and
people protest.
Lloyd Russell Moore, you're just making statements. On what basis is Posey Parker, Kelly J. King? She stands up for women's rights and women's safety, with women's only safe spaces like change rooms, toilets, prisons. In what way is that anti-trans?
Well, I'm not sure she is actually standing up for those things. I think
she is.
She's whipping up a lot of frustration and anger.
She's whipping up a lot of...
Do you see that? She's like, this is what she stands up for. I'm not sure she actually stands up for those things. She's just whipping up anger. Who's actually whipping up the anger? Seriously. Who's whipping up the anger? Is it the people who are going, hey, keep your dick out of locker rooms? Or is it the people going, you're a fucking misogynist. You're killing people if you don't let that dick in a locker room? Which one is causing the hatred? Which one's stoking that fire? Because I'll tell you something. 5 years ago, nobody had a problem with saying, yeah, men don't belong in a women's locker room. Nobody had a problem with that. And suddenly it's like, oh, it's everywhere. But who's the one that gets blamed for it? Is it the people who actually brought this to the forefront? The people who sued to get girls into boys' bathrooms in, what was that, in, was that Charlotte, South Carolina? Somewhere in South Carolina, I believe. Who's the one who did this? It wasn't those of us who believe in biology, you fucking asshole. But anyway, we're not done.
Frustration and anger that exists among women.
We saw when she was, of course, in Australia, didn't we? How kind of the far right surrounded her and were doing Nazi salutes, and
they weren't with her. They weren't with her.
They were with her on the demonstration. She didn't condemn that. She didn't tell.
Did you see this? He's not going to, he just told us a little while ago, he's not going to condemn the bad people on his side because there's extremists on both sides. But now we're talking about Posey Parker, who went down. I do not know the incident. I'm just going to take his word. She goes down there and she has this rally and some right-wing people showed up and she didn't condemn them. Well, maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there. She's taking your view of things where, hey, there's extremists on both sides. I'm just ignoring those people. See how he gives himself an out? He doesn't have to apologize for the bad on his side. No, nah. But she is directly responsible for people who showed up at her rally.
She did condemn it. That's a lie. She did. She's got nothing to do with those people.
She didn't condemn it.
You're just. She
so we
did.
know that she
did.
mixes with really nasty, controversial.
Is anyone?
She mixes with really nasty, controversial people. The people that we were talking about at the very beginning were Antifa. These fucking shitbags who do such nasty shit that they make sure they're not caught on camera. Did you pay attention when they showed the video? How the one guy she's trying to highlight, there's an umbrella that keeps getting in his way. That's on purpose. They use umbrellas to keep cameras from taking their pictures and stuff like they're fucking Amish, afraid their soul's going to be stolen from them. Except for the reality of it is they don't want to be identified because they're a bunch of fucking criminals. But hey, that your side. Who kicks up more hate? Antifa or Posey fucking Parker? Jesus fucking Christ. But I just wanted to show you that switch because it's almost unbelievable. Twisted Skipster, thank you so much. Just because plus keep being you. One awesome semi. Oh, thank you so very much. That's very, very kind of you. It's just such nonsense. They never have to apologize for their people. By the way, if you're still here, Satsu, and you answered me, I didn't see. I'm so sorry. I was in the middle of ranting. But if you do want to hang out, let me know. I just don't know how to deal with it anymore, honestly. We've gotten to a point where this is just insane. Did you see that Dylan Mulvaney video? I apparently caused some controversy, but I just want to be happy. Did you guys see that stupid shit? It was a Twisted Skipster Feminist. Oh, did I forget to say Twisted Skipster? Thanks so much for that. Feminist, $12. I did it in my head and forgot to do it when I said it out loud. Thank you so much, Twisted Skipster, for the Feminist 12. That helps keep us in business, guys. Remember, I'm brought to you by you. Hit that like button, hit the share button, thumbs up button if you're on Rumble, and please share it with your friends, your family, that bitch you hate. Get them here watching, and yeah, have them come have a good time with us. Oh, and yeah, if you can donate. I'm the worst shill ever. I'm like, yeah, I gotta shill this out. This is my job. This is how I make money. I'm gonna forget to tell them to please donate. I love myself some days. Anyhow, I don't want to stay on this too long because we talk about it so much. We did a decent segment on it yesterday. I was so blown away at agreeing with these people. It just fucked with my head. How do you make me agree with feminists? I rate Alex's scribe, prove me wrong. Their voices are nothing alike. Not even close. I love Scribbles, but he has a much more monotone where Alex is expressive. Proved it. Now what? Haha. Anyhow, moving along. What else did I see today? I didn't see a whole lot. I wasn't online a whole lot today. I don't really want to watch that. We'll watch that another day. Oh God, did I get some people pissy with me today? So E. Jean Carroll finished up her testimony yesterday. And I simply asked, does this mean she's done lying? Oh boy, did the E. Jean Carroll stands come out. They're like, how did Trump lies? What about Trump? Trump had who the hell did I just send that link to? Oh shit, I sent you the wrong link, didn't I? No. Satsu, I've had trouble with DMs recently. Hang on just a second. I had to DM Jack 3 times the other night for it to come through twice for him the next morning. All right. It's in your DMs now, Satsu. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with DMs on Twitter. They need to take a look at that. Yeah, so these people are so pissed off. The E. Jean Carroll trial it should be coming to an end soon. They had a lady up there today who claims, I forget her name, I don't care. She claims she was on a flight back in 1979, I think is the time. And she's on a flight and she's in coach and she gets bumped up to first class. She ends up sitting next to this guy who introduces himself as Donald Trump. And they start talking. And then out of nowhere, he tries kissing her and grabbing her boobs and shoves his hand up her skirt. And nobody was paying attention to what went on. And she finally had to get up and leave because of the hand in her skirt. When nobody would stand up for her, she stood up for herself. I don't believe that people believe this shit. They can't actually believe it. Thank you, Vol Potato. I'm not saying this is what happened, but the Australian rally with the Nazis, there wasn't really much history to the group. It looked very Patriot Front. They glowed brighter than the sun. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah, sorry, the notice didn't go off. Hey, random black dude.
What up, Dale?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good.
Oh man, what a fucking world.
Yeah, dude. I was just gonna hang out, and then I heard you mention like, oh my God, I'm actually agreeing with feminists now, and that made me laugh because I was just telling Squishy before. I'm like, dude, I have always been an opponent of the idea of the patriarchy, but I don't do that anymore because I swear to God, it has to be real.
It's got to be a way that men came up with getting over on women.
I'm like, it has to be real. We have men right now forcing women to question their existence. We don't even know what women are anymore because men have stepped into their spaces and they said, look, this feminist movement is getting out of hand. These women are losing their minds. So we're going to put on some wigs and we're going to infiltrate their movement and show the power of the patriarchy. And we're going to literally dismantle womanhood by pretending to be women and being better at it than them. And I'm like, holy shit.
You know, by the way, Alex, I threw you a link if you're interested in hanging out with us. It's amazing because you said something there that's absolutely true. Literally erasing women.
Yeah.
Women, there's no definition for it anymore. Like, what is a woman? I don't know if you saw the What is a Woman documentary by Matt Walsh. There's a part of it where he's talking to people on the street. And he asks him, he goes, could I tell you I'm a woman? And they're like, well, sure, if that's what you believe. He goes, well, what if I say I'm like 6 feet tall? And they're like, well, if that's what you believe. Literally just whatever you believe is real.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And like I said, it's extremely effective. They're somehow doing a really good job because I was talking to my wife about this before too. I was asking her, like, you notice that the trans movement is like, it's very tunnel visioned on specifically one thing. You don't see anybody anywhere asking what a man is, right? Like anywhere, nobody's asking what a man is. Nobody's talking about trans men, playing in men's sports. Like, we're not debating about that. Nobody's fighting for that or talking about that. We're not talking about, you don't hear the mantra, trans men are men. Nobody ever says that. It's exclusively the dudes. And then my wife was like, maybe there's a reason for it. And I sat there and I thought about it for a minute. And I'm just like,
yeah,
society doesn't care about men so much. Society, like, men are so disregarded so much that even when they think they're women,
then we suddenly have a voice. Yeah.
I'm just like, bro.
You know the weird part about that though? This all really did kick off from a trans man. Actually, it was a trans boy.
Mm.
The whole bathroom debate was a girl who wanted to go into the boys' bathroom. But that got overshadowed by Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, you want to know why? Because that conversation, the detractors, was more about her safety.
Oh, yeah.
Because people were concerned that something would happen to her.
Yes.
But now it's the other way around.
Does Satsu have Streamlabs? Which Streamlabs are you using these days?
It's the same link as it's been. Hold on, I'll drop it for you again.
I appreciate it. It's just so funny to me that things have changed this much, because I still think most feminist stuff, sorry, no, not feminine, feminist stuff is nonsense.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like that's always been the case outside of the original movement. Like most of the stuff that they go on about now, and I'm like, for people who thought I was serious about the patriarchy thing, I'm not. It's a joke.
Well,
just, you know,
I hear you that it's a joke, but I don't think there was some planning meeting or something like that. But it is kind of what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at it, if you're looking at it for face value, if you're just like, okay, let's examine this situation for exactly what it is. There's a group of men dismantling the concept of what a woman is, and they're being very successful at it. Like it's super easy for them to do.
Real quick, hi, King of the Down, folks.
Hello, Monkey and Random Black Man.
How are you, my friend?
See, you know how like we're not allowed to like define what a woman is anymore. We're not allowed to ask Alex how he is anymore either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm good, thank you. I'm okay, thank you. How are you both? How you been? It's been a long time.
It's been way too long. I'm living.
I feel you, dog. Definitely feel you on that one. And Satsu, my darling.
I'm doing pretty good. Started a business. My wife's talking about another kid. She's about to get her driver's license, so we're about to be mobile pretty soon. I've just been all over the place.
That's amazing, dude. Seriously.
Awesome.
Well done.
Notice I said she's talking about another kid.
Well, you know how it is, dude. You ain't got a choice in the matter. You got to provide the dick, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Happy for you, brother.
Viva la patriarchy.
Oddly, that brings up some to what you were talking about a little bit ago, Satsu.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see like trans men pretending to spooge,
Yeah, exactly.
The trans women, I mean, there's actually a thing, you guys can look this up on YouTube, where you can fake a period for reasons I can't explain why you'd want to destroy your underwear for no fucking reason.
Monkey, I've seen a lot of videos on like TikTok and different places like that of women who transition to men. Most of them, like almost pretty much all of them that I've seen, have a very grounded viewpoint of their position and like the what it means to have transition. And from what I've seen, most of their position is, I am a trans male, not a male. I'm not a man. I am a trans man. And there's a reason that qualifier is there. And I'm like, if that was the general position, there wouldn't really, like, of course, there would be some people who still are upset about it and still want to fight it or whatever. But like, it could end there for me. Like you could just stop it right there. We're good.
I saw a thing today where for trans women, it's a fake dick you can put in your pants. And you had the feminists, remember when they were trying to pee standing up? But otherwise, yeah, I don't want to say they seem more grounded, because I've seen a lot of crazy ones, but they don't seem to go to the I actually am a man thing. Like trans men are men, like you mentioned earlier.
My you know how my brother is FTM.
Yes.
He says to people that he's a trans man.
That's
it. Like,
does he pretend he gets, things that only the opposite sex really could get? Like a period for,
my brother did have some illusions, or delusions rather, about being able to acquire a penis of any size, which is really uncomfortable for me to talk about. As one might imagine, but which isn't obviously true. You can't just obtain a 10-inch fucking 5-inch thick fucking 10-inch dongalong. That's not how it works. I don't know
about that, dude. Pornhub tells me all the time that you can with those commercials.
But the thing is with like the what would actually call a female penis, where they put a fake dick on a woman, it doesn't work. It's just
they have to pump it up, don't they?
Yeah.
Got to pump it up, don't you? But no. My brother has a far worse version of MS than I do, and is busy, trying to exist.
Sure.
With actual real life problems, not what I constantly see on Twitter, as it never stops invading my timeline. But sometimes, admittedly, Monkey, you've seen my timeline.
Sure.
And what it's full of. Sometimes it's welcome, to be honest with you. Like I came in and you were like saying that you don't even know how to respond to this shit anymore. Me, sometimes it's just, oh, thank God there's some trans shit going on.
No, it just seems to be such a dominant thing right now, and eventually it'll blow over, I hope. But it's alarming to me that we're at a place where we're literally having conversations about things that can't exist as though they do.
Well, people want to lob.
There's a thing going on right now with trans women's periods, but they don't actually get the blood. It's the PMS. And it's like, oh, that's the first amount of your hormones are changing because you just started taking this shit. And they'll lay there like they got the worst, they have gas pain. Like, I have menstrual cramps. That's not possible. You don't have a uterus.
Well, here's the thing though. The idea behind that, when I first started seeing those videos, I'm like, a person who already is struggling with mental, issues that make you perceive yourself as a woman, you are now telling me to also accept the fact that you are hallucinating about this other thing. And I'm just like, you haven't gotten all over the first hurdle yet.
Yeah, right.
Like you think I'm about to entertain more bullshit? I'm still struggling with the first thing.
I had people, and I'm not naming names, who I generally think intelligent, who came to me and like, no, actually, it really is like menstrual cramps. It can't fucking be like menstrual cramps. They don't have a uterus. That's what menstrual cramps are.
Also, too, where did the argument go that men literally, due to biology, cannot experience the things that, like, just on a fundamental level, like that conversation just went out of the window, because even feminists now are just like, oh yeah, this thing that we've been struggling with for a while, yeah, they can totally just emulate it, just put on a wig, and there you go.
That is one of the most interesting parts of this to me, is the different feminist groups, your right versus your femmes. These are both groups who are radical feminists. They're both, rah woman power, fuck men, patriarchy sucks, down with A. But one group is like, yeah, fuck all those men except for the ones who put on a dress. And the other ones are still like, nah, fuck men. And it's funny to watch those two groups fight.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Because you would think they would be on the same side.
Well, I saw this interesting video. This dude was like holding up a sign or something at a rally that was provocative. It was supposed to piss feminists off. And I'll give you a moment to think about whether or not it did. But
yeah. It just said hi.
But this lady walks up to this dude and she's like, why would you do something like this? Don't you think that it's disrespectful? Or, have you stopped to think about, as a woman, what women would think about this? And he was like, whoa, wait a second. You're a woman? And she got offended immediately because he said that. But immediately caught herself right after, was like, wait, hold on. And he was like, yeah, aren't you supposed to check that? He was like, I had no idea you were a woman. He was like, I didn't ask. You didn't tell me you were a woman. So how would I know? And she wanted to be offended that he looked at this clear woman that was standing right in front of him and asked her to her face, oh, wait, you're a woman?
You're a woman?
But she couldn't get upset because she knew she was in public, and she knew that she believes in a philosophy where there's no way you can know what this person is standing in front of you. So you should always ask. And oh my God, the conflict on this woman's face. She was just like, God damn it.
Is that what's been going on in society whilst I've been ignoring everything in life?
Yeah.
Do I now have to, when I go out on my, on the irate scooty, with my little Texas decals on it, and it actually says irate on the front in decals as well. Yeah, little stickers. Do I now have to go, what are you?
Well, you're supposed to, because you're never supposed to assume. In normal circles, no. But in like this situation, dealing with one of these people is like, aren't you afraid of what you're going to offend women? Like, bitch, are you a woman?
Well,
You
they're
guys
so
are the-
stupid. They crafted a weapon that they can beat over other people's heads, but the weapon's secondary functionality is that it bounces back and slaps you in the face every time you swing it.
Yeah.
So so like every argument that they put forth can be deflected with a mirror. You just put a mirror up and you win automatically. So it's just like they generalize and they use all these terms to put people in groups and say they use identity politics. That's their major weapon in their repertoire, but it can be defeated so easily. So it's just like, hey, as a man, you don't have an opinion on that. I'm not a man. I'm a woman. Now what? Where do you go from here? You literally can't go anywhere from here. Now my opinion is 100% valid, and you have to shut the fuck up.
It's amazing though, because there are some who will just start going into random rants that don't mean anything. Of course I'm a woman. You know I'm a woman. You're disrespecting me while trying to make fun of trans people. That's their biggest thing. Like, you're trying to bring hate to them.
And then they'll tell you like when your defense is like, oh, well, you can't have an opinion on this. You're not a woman. You're like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you can't. No, you're not. You don't feel that you just made that up. And you're just like, wait a minute. I told you that I'm a woman. You specifically told me that anybody who feels like they're a woman is one without question. And now you're telling me that my experiences are invalid. Interesting.
One of my favorite things I ever saw regarding all of this, I believe it was Zuby. You guys know who Zuby is?
Oh, you talking about that interview he did?
Oh, black fella, Brit Bong fella.
Yes.
Yeah.
He left England because you guys have draconian laws.
Not as bad as fucking Scotland. My God.
True. Fuck,
Jesus
dude.
Christ. Did you see what Count Dankula shared the other day? The rape thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, what he said, he goes, transracial actually makes more sense than transgender. Because race actually is a spectrum.
Yeah.
And
I did see that.
It made little liberals go, but it was funny as shit just to watch them try to process that.
Well, it is, because most people, particularly people in America, are mixed with all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah.
And with that mindset, yeah, it's significantly more of a spectrum than sex.
Look, the people haven't seen me, and I don't know if you ever have, but I'm very, very white. You are a black man.
Allegedly.
And Bear is kind of in the middle of our color scheme.
I'm closer to you, but I'm more like the perfect cup of tea. But yeah,
you are. But see, there literally is a spectrum that colors can be. There's only two sexes, and you can sit there and do but gender's different than sex. Go fuck yourself. That's retarded, and it came from a pedophile. Just throwing that out there because it's true. But you can say that all day long. It doesn't change the fact there's only two sexes. And don't throw intersex in there, because intersex are just deformities of the other two of the two sexes.
Well, yeah, that clip that's been going around when he asked that the paramedic trans person, it was like, if you got a call from a biological man who you confirmed had a penis, and it was a medical emergency, as an EMT, if they told you that they were having a miscarriage, would you entertain that and actually treat that person for a miscarriage? Would you utilize medical resources to properly treat that person for a possible miscarriage? And they obviously said no, because they're an EMT and presumably not an idiot. So he was just like, so there it is, from experience that is a man. He can't possibly have a miscarriage. And their response was what you would expect it to be, which is, but there are some women who can't give birth. Right. And he was like, yes. And there are some people who are born with one leg, but we haven't decided that legs are a spectrum, have we?
Right. Exactly.
Like, just because somebody is born with one leg, we're not now saying, well, you can't really say that people are supposed to have two. Like, it's a spectrum. Some people only have one. It's like, no, it's just like, something went wrong. If there is a woman who is an adult who is within birthing range and she cannot give birth, then that something is incorrect.
There was over in Bear's neck of the woods, the NHS had sent out a notice to women like, hey, you need to get your pap smear. And trans people got pissed off because trans women weren't sent this notice. You don't need one. You don't have a fucking vagina.
You know, I hate these people because I can't make the joke that I'm a bit spectrumy anymore.
Right?
Well, it's infuriating, man. It's especially the one where it was an all-girls school, and the dude like opened up a morning event with "Good Morning Girls," and he got kicked off campus.
God. Thanks, Dangerous, for dropping all of our links. Bears and Satsus are both in the description at the top. Or sorry, in the doobly-doo at the top of your YouTube chat.
Oh, give Monkey money.
Yeah, give money. Give money. I like to eat.
Food is good.
Food is good. It's just asinine is the problem. And the fact that we have to have this conversation, that we entertain this conversation point where people get in trouble for it on different social medias for having the wrong fucking word or view. There was a kid, who was I watching? I watched some video yesterday, and it was Adonis Paul. He highlighted this kid who went up in front of the school board and had to explain to them that he got in trouble and got sent home because he wore a shirt to school that said there are only two genders. He got kicked out of school for the day over it because he made some of the students feel unsafe.
I guarantee no one felt unsafe at all. It's just,
Here's the thing. I hear you about people not feeling unsafe, but they're literally telling trans people that they're going to die at any minute. And somebody's going to get you.
I have seen these threats that trans people are making, but I was going to ask you a question actually. So we were on the topic of trans people. Did you see Riley Dennis made the news?
God. You know what? Yeah, actually.
Oh my God. Dude, I was doing really well forgetting that person exists.
You're most welcome, Satsu. You're most welcome. I had to be reminded yesterday, so.
And now I remembered I hate you. God damn it.
Well, you know the rules. If I had to say it, then so do you.
We have a follow-up to the follow-up of the story. Now, the original story we did not cover the follow-up except for briefly. Somebody brought it up in chat because they'd sent us a message or the story about it, which I did read, but the topic of that night just didn't allow for it. So what happens is there's a story about Riley Dennis. It comes out that Riley Dennis is playing soccer over in Australia. A 30-year-old man playing against teenage girls and reportedly injured one of them.
Which, to be honest, is very surprising considering how skinny that motherfucker is. Like,
still a man playing against a little girl. I mean,
well, how old were the girls?
But there's a follow-up where the people who published the story, the original story, got in trouble with the Australian government for causing hate and violence against Riley. Lysis, thank you so much. Here's a good phrase for you. If a diagnosed retard calls you a retard, then how retarded are you? It depends.
Well, I mean, I call myself a retard. I think I've got enough diagnoses to call myself a retard. And considering I call people retard on a regular basis, if you really want to step into the Thunderdome that is my Twitter, sure, go look at the absolute dribblers that I often tweet about.
Now, this is Redux. It's actually, I know it's pronounced redo, but I say Redux because I think it's funny. This is a feminist news organization that we have been talking about way too much. This is another one of those where I can't believe I agree with these people. Australia, police warn woman over comments about trans activists as e-safety commission continues censorship rampage. An Australian woman was reported to police after making posts on social media about a male who identifies as transgender participating in women's football league. Carolee Smith, who was visited by New South Wales police. Get out of New South Wales. Jesus fuck. Everything bad we read about Australia comes from New South Wales.
Yes, it does, yeah.
Police, after
Southern Wales.
speaking to media about Riley Dennis, a trans activist who had been the subject of mass complaints last month after reportedly injuring female players. Now, reportedly, what this Carolee Smith lady did was get a whole bunch of people to go report Riley. 12,000 people reported Riley for, being a dude kicking little girls.
How
But
old were the other players?
it's the way they described it is like a youth football league, but it's like 16 and up, I believe, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's out there beating on little girls. And it's funny because the original story of this, they blocked out Riley's picture. You couldn't actually see Riley's face, but if you've seen a single video with Riley in it, it's like, that's Riley Dennis.
Oh yeah.
They didn't block out the storky knees or the Adam's apple that even after being shaved down could put out an eye.
So Riley still hasn't fully transitioned then.
Well, as much as they're going to. Riley was okay. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Riley's not a transgender person. Riley wants to bang lesbians and is committed to it enough to put on eyeliner.
Speaking of banging lesbians, did you see that Her thing?
The what?
There's a website that was created. It was like a lesbian dating website where, you know, lesbians can go and safely date other lesbians. And there's an entire saga about how this website slowly turned into, if you're a lesbian, like actually lesbian, and you sleep with women exclusively, you're not welcome here on this site.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's a saga. I sent the link to Scribe. Actually, if you want to take a look at it, I can send you the link. It's oh boy, I was reading through that and I'm like, dude, this could be a whole show.
the stuff that's, look, I've said this many times. 99% of the people that you see say, if you won't date a transgender person, you're a bigot. They want to fuck lesbians. Period.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And a lot of them will hide it, but you'll eventually. We saw this one where it's like a 2-3 minute video about how, hey, you if you have this preference, then you're a bigot. And it finally gets to the end, and the person says, so if you're a woman who won't go out with a trans woman, then you're and it's like, see, right there, gave it away, because all you guys want to do is fuck lesbians.
And that's what it is too. Like, I swear to God, dude, incels, they have fucking found a way. They're just like, look, nobody's gonna give me pussy as a man, so that's it.
Slap on a dress.
I'm gonna give them some of this female penis.
Yeah. Be like, no, I promise it's a strap on. That's not really me. My penis, I hate it so much it doesn't even get hard. No, that's gravity keeping it up.
Well, look at the links that some of these people, you know, and it's really sad. Like, I'm not making fun of people who are kind of just relegated to the bottom rung of society and nobody wants to deal with them or whatever. Like, it sucks to be in that position. And we've seen the position, the lengths that these people will go to sometimes to just feel wanted or whatever. And I would wager that a lot of these dudes on these female lesbian dating apps are just dudes that, like, I need to get some vagina by any means necessary, and this is my best bet. And they're fucking right, unfortunately.
I mean, there's a lot of pushback from lesbians. It's weird to say lesbians seem to be some of the smartest ones when it comes to this. And you know why? It's because they don't like dick.
Well, but here's the thing, though. A lot of people are kind of disillusioned about it because they'll think like, well, you know, these trans people are saying that you should sleep with these people because it's the right thing to do. But don't get it twisted. The people who advocate for this would never, ever even entertain the idea. They just will never say it out loud. They'll tell you left and right that you should, it's the good thing to do or whatever, but they will never verbally, openly say that they wouldn't. But you better fucking believe they wouldn't.
Well, it's kind of funny. You never see them say, hey, trans lesbians should date trans lesbians. Because they don't like dick either.
Exactly. Oh my God, monkey. Holy shit. Exactly.
Yeah. I fucking hate this subject because we talk about it so often, but how can it still be such a big deal? How can this be in our houses of Congress? There's bills going through the houses of Congress about this shit. There's a good chance that we'll end up with a bill that says a dude can go into a female locker room and have his dick out and have it signed by the president of the fucking United States?
Well, I think Alex had mentioned this earlier about like threats and stuff that they were making. Did you see the one video where the dude was like, "I dare you to stop me from going into the restroom with your daughter"?
The fuck.
Fuck
Yeah,
you. Let's try
he was
that.
like, I'm advocating for trans people to arm themselves or whatever. And he was like, go ahead, try to stop me from going into the bathroom with your daughter. It'll be the last thing you ever do. And I'm just like, oof, that's a quick way to die, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My daughter is not even a child anymore, and if you tried that shit with my daughter, there'd be problems. Keep your dick away from my daughter.
I find this bizarre, especially things like this happening in the United States of America, where you're allowed to own guns, where there are more guns than people.
True.
That could be fairly, relatively cheaply obtained by most people without a criminal record, of course. That's just dumb. That's retarded. I hope it's worth it for them. I hope it's worth it for them. You know,
I dropped the link in the private chat, Mo.
Because when they get their dick shot off,
right?
They said, you said you were trans, you wanted to be a lady. Well, there's a brand new hole there between your legs.
Bro, you should have seen the comments of that video. It was just a bunch of fucking dudes in there like, oh, please try me.
Like, yeah, you got some rednecks out there who've been waiting to shoot somebody. You might not want to try that.
They like, make my day. Sweet Jesus, please.
Do you remember when Antifa and BLM were going to go down to Alabama to protest?
Mm-hmm.
That would also be really fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, they were like, we decided that might be a bad idea. Like, no shit, you can get your ass shot.
Well,
the
rednecks
ain't going to play the way that they do in Oregon.
Oh dear, that would be a very, very fucking bad idea. Why did they have the idea to begin with? Like, who raised that idea to start with? They have a troll amongst their ranks?
No, there was, I forget what rally it was that they were having down in Alabama. And this is at the height of their power in 2020 when they're having their protests and fucking everything. And I forget what it was, but they're like, we're going to protest that. Like, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Oh, Shroom said that dude was arrested for terroristic threats. That's hilarious.
Good.
Oh, yeah, because he was absolutely like, I know there's some situations where it was like, oh, they was threatening us. And you listen to it and it's like, that wasn't really a threat. No, he was 100% like, yes, this is absolutely a threat. I'm just like, oh.
Your article's From Her to Him, the downfall of a lesbian dating app. Boasting 1.5 million users in 55 countries, Her is undeniably the largest and most recognizable. I didn't realize lesbians had their own dating app.
Oh, yeah. Everybody does, dude. Like,
is it called Clam?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Welcome to Gash.
Taco Smash?
Taco Smash.
Yeah.
While debatable now, it appears to have been created with the best of intentions. The app's founder, Robin Exton, said that she first set out to design an app that wasn't just a female version of Grindr. That's what all dating apps are. They're just a hetero version of Grindr. You ever see those people that are like, all that they want to do on Tinder is hook up? Yeah.
Why are you surprised by this?
What the fuck did you think it was? No, I came here to find love. Should have been in Monkey's Chat. You'll have a much better chance of finding it.
Mm-hmm. The lesbian app, Scissors, Sesame.app, .io. I don't know.
However, over the last few years, Her has become less of a platform for lesbians to mingle and more of a case study in the contagion of gender identity ideology and how it uniquely harms the lesbian community. Okay, it doesn't uniquely harm you guys. It's doing it to everybody. I
feel like it's fairly harmful for everyone. Although, one thing that I pointed out is that the L is the first letter in LGBT. True. And that is the first one that's been trying to be eliminated. So I feel like they're going down the line until there's just T left.
Here's the thing. I agree with you in part, but if you see what they're doing to gay men, I mean, at least with lesbians, they're not telling them they're men. But they are telling gay men that, hey, are you sure you're not a girl?
I agree. I disagree with both of you. They've been attacking bi people for eons.
Well, bi people, they've always treated them like shit.
They're like, you fence sitter.
Yeah, bi people are the centrists. They're
That's why they're hated.
They get no love, even though they're willing to love anybody.
exactly.
Well, no, that's you can't say that, Monkey, because, you know, there's such a thing as pansexual.
Bullshit. Don't say stupid shit on my show.
I'm just don't shoot the messenger, dude. Don't shoot the messenger. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just repeating what they say.
I know what they say, and they're retarded. A pansexual.
I believe it means where genitals don't matter. So it's like so bisexual then.
Pan means that gender expression doesn't matter.
Oh, I thought genitals didn't matter, as if there was like a different set of genitals that I wasn't aware of.
No. That bi is where your genitals don't matter. Pan is where how you dress in the rest of your day doesn't matter. No, you see, I'm willing to sleep with trans lesbians and trans homosexuals, and I just sleep with all of them. Shut up. So that just makes you bi. You stupid fuck.
You have a shaved side of your head. You have like a barely grown mustache that you can barely see, and you upload videos of you crying to TikTok on a regular basis.
There are two kinds of genitals. There's a vagina and a penis. You can only mix those three: vagina, penis, and penis.
Well,
That's
what
it.
About the female penis, Monkey?
There's that. I will slap the shit out of you.
I feel like bisexual
MS out of you.
I feel like bisexual people are targeted specifically because, like, in order to acknowledge their existence, you have to acknowledge a binary. Because like bisexual people are one or the other, and they're like, no, there is no one or the other. There's millions, and the very existence of you is a problem to our cause. So we hate you by default.
Launched in 2015 under the premise of being a female-run lesbian space, Her went through a subtle rebrand in 2018 in an effort to profit from the burgeoning trends of queerness and inclusivity. That was your first mistake. Terms which had gained popularity from the social justice bloggers of Tumblr and into mainstream discourse. Her, which had ostensibly been designed exclusively for female users, began to add more categories and identities, so it could attract a base that included trans-identified individuals, particularly men. Well, that was a good fucking idea for a lesbian site.
Mm-hmm.
You know what this lesbian space needs? Cock. Lots and lots of cock.
Not just any cock either, like low quality dick.
Severe lack of penis on this lesbian site. We need to fix this.
They turned a lesbian site into a sausage party.
I'll keep reading. It gets interesting. Wait till you get to the tweets from the person who made the site. Oh my god.
In their promotional materials, Her even began using the term, that's not a word, Wimixin, whatever, to be more inclusive to those who felt woman was an offensive term. You're lesbians who catered to people who thought women was offensive.
Dude, the most hilarious exchange I see when it comes to this stuff is, I identify as this, and you need to call me this because it makes me feel comfortable, and I prefer not to be called anything else. And you're like, okay, fine. And it's like, okay, well, thank you. You as a cis person, I'm glad you would do that. Well, what is this cis thing? I don't identify as that. Yes, you are cis because I said you are, and that's what it is, and you can't argue against it. And I'm just like, wait a minute. You just made me concede that I have to call you whatever you want, but I said I don't identify as cis, and you're like, you don't have a choice. That's what you are because that's the word we created for you. And I
identify as normal.
What's normal, monkey?
What most people do
on a washing machine.
I like vagina as a man. That's normal. And that's not saying gay people are bad, but it's not the norm. It's just not. And if you don't like it, fuck off.
I have a question actually regarding
go ahead.
Just trans stuff, right? It's a question to everyone in the chat, to Satsu, to you, Monkey. Trans people make up what, less than 1% in the United States?
Okay, the adult population 5 years ago was less than half of 1%.
Okay,
And now, wait, there's a caveat to that.
Oh no.
Local polls or recent polls have showed that between 20 and 25% of high school students identify as trans.
That's extremely friggin' worrying. Okay,
Yeah.
so the real statistic here is probably less than 1%, probably less than half than 1%. And
Yeah.
in the UK, it's probably around the same.
Sure.
You know, when we're excluding these other alleged statistics
Trenders.
that we're hearing about. Why are we giving such massive fucking platforms to this tiny itty bitty demographic of people?
There's a very good reason for that. Because they're a small group, so they're oppressed. They have no power. Remember, power plus privilege is racism, it's sexism. That's what it is. That's why even though men are outnumbered by women in the world, we have the power, so they are the oppressed class. It's about the most oppressed class.
Now that's the surface level answer. The real answer is, because obviously you know all these media streams and where all this information is coming from, and everybody who's pushing and facilitating this are the ultra rich. So it's like, as long as we keep those fucking morons down there fighting and hating each other, then we don't care what the topic is about. It could be about racism, sexism, whatever. As long as they're fighting and not paying attention to what we're doing as the people who are controlling society, then I don't care. So whatever it is that's controversial, that keeps people fighting and at each other's throats, they're going to 100% back, because they're like, yeah, we can do whatever we want as long as they're distracted. So that's the real reason, outside of the other shit that they tell you.
Bubba says, don't forget there's a trans genocide. Yeah, that's a real thing that they're pushing. You'll notice anytime they talk about how the numbers and stuff, like they're trying to kill him, you're trying to get him to commit suicide. Look at how many have died. It's all about that oppression. And yeah, part of it is to keep us distracted. But part of it is it's a control thing, because if they can push this and force you to speak the way they want you to speak, they can do it with anything.
Oddly enough, I've been explained to several times about the trans genocide from not dead trans people.
It's amazing.
or not actively endangered trans people. For some reason, trans people who are so hunted down and so sought out to be killed that they speak out in public spaces and take over public areas frequently, and become televised, because clearly they're in hyper danger at all times.
If Hitler was as bad as the transphobes at genociding, there'd be a lot more Jews and gypsies and homosexuals in the world.
So at Halloween,
oh god,
I will turn irate Scooty into a Panzer tank, and I will don a SS uniform and go knock on trans people's doors if I can find them, and I'll just say trick or treat and see what happens.
You can't do that in America because trans people have guns too. You get shot.
Understatement says, how do you explain the Black genocide? Well, the facilitators of the so-called Black genocide are Black people, so we can't talk about that at all.
All right, let's get back to this real quick. Exton gave an interview at the time calling the queer community amazing and celebrating the fact that queerness was causing people to question, challenge, and think about their identity. Wow, this person's an idiot. But what started with a spark of inclusion turned into a wildfire of compulsion. On Exton's app, there was a flood of men who identified as lesbians who felt welcome to use her as their new mating grounds. All the while, lesbians and bisexual women who were only interested in dating females were not provided any option to filter out these men from their searches. Hey, they're women. Don't let that dick fool you. I'm going to make that a shirt. Don't let the dick fool you. Over the short years following, her began mutating into an entity that was openly hostile to its lesbian users in an effort to signal its dedication to inclusivity. We're going to include everybody but the lesbians this site was made for.
Which is like, that was the part that really got me. It's just like, This site created for lesbians, women. They are the group that we hate the most.
Without the ability to filter out men who could pick any identity they liked on the app, some female users took it upon themselves to signify that they were only interested in other women by adding it to their bio or including a photo with logos that signified exclusive same-sex attraction. These women found themselves quite literally forced off the app. Jen, a lesbian user known on Twitter as C-Bucks Rules, told Redux she was suspended after adding no trans women to her bio on her because she was exclusively same-sex attracted. Jen had joined her in late 2021 looking for a female partner and assuming a lesbian dating app would be a place to go for such an endeavor. You silly bitch. Finding a veritable smorgasbord of 5 o'clock shadows and head tilts, Jen attempted to ensure she would only be contacted by other female users. I wrote in my bio what I would not consider the opposite sex as a partner, nor a woman who was not proud women, as we would not be compatible. Shortly after she was suspended, she wrote to hers customer service and asked why and received a snarky response from an agent named Devin, berating her for using hateful language in her bio and asserting trans women are women. Hi, Jen. Thanks for reaching out to us. Your account was suspended for phobic, disrespectful speech in the bio of your profile. Specifically, please only contact me if you were born female and proud to be a woman. Absolutely no trans women or non-binary people, please. Her is a welcoming place for queer people, including non-binary and trans folks. Trans women are women. Regards, Devin. Go fuck yourself, Devin. Jen was incredulous. Her banned me, a lesbian, for being a lesbian and not wanting sexual and romantic relationships with opposite sex, she told Redux. But Jen's experience is far from isolated. Another woman, a vocal women's rights advocate known by her moniker DJ Lippy.
Shittest DJ name I think I've ever
Lippy?
heard.
As a woman, you can't name yourself Lippy because I'm not going to think of your pouty mouth. I'm going to think of your bat wings. DJ Bat Wings. All right.
That's a way better name. Like
it is.
Yeah.
Told Redux that she had been suspended from using her after she uploaded a photograph to her profile featuring a sign that displayed a dictionary definition of a woman as an adult human female. Whoopsie. All right. You said something about these are the you said something about the is this it? Where's the the tweet you said? Because this is a really long ass article. I can't do the whole thing.
I think they start to get to there's some of the tweets and stuff. You could just look at the actual pictures and stuff as you scroll down and read whichever ones.
Can the TERFs not afford knitting supplies? Somebody started GoFundMe lest their gaping assholes catch a cold. What the fuck?
Yeah, this is the person running the website.
Wow. And she was responding to somebody said, we can't use dead names, but these rapists and abusers are free to steal the names of gender critical women. This kind of behavior is chilling. Wow. Wow. Okay. These people are fucking disgusting. I'll throw this into chat. This would be a good one to just do. But I want to change the subject. I really didn't want to talk about the trans stuff this long. All right.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Well, there's just so much of it. And so much has changed. And we're told to ignore reality. And I have a problem with that. I don't like liars. And this is lying. That's what it is. Frank, thank you. In the Philly area, the straight apps cater to them too. A couples app even asked if you would be open to trans or same sex. I clicked no, still have a bunch of trans pop up, as well as guys that put their woman in order to try to find straight guys. Wow. Thank you for the donation. You know, it's okay to just be a degenerate.
I've lasted quite long being a degenerate. Yeah.
Why they got to try to make it sound better than it is? You're just a weirdo who wants to. Why not? Seriously, be honest. I have a penis and want to bang lesbians. Try that and see how well it works for you.
Well, the reality is just communication and self-acceptance are the two, I think, universal things that overnight, if everybody was forced to engage in these activities, just proper communication skills and self-acceptance, like genuine self-acceptance to where you can look in the mirror, see who you are, recognize it, and be okay with it. Like literally, the world would shift overnight, because that's what a lot of these people's problems is their existence is 100% dependent on whether or not the people around them accept them as who they claim they are supposed to be. But it's just like, if you just accept it yourself, then we wouldn't be in this fucking position to begin with.
This is something that came up last night. I mean, these are people who, this is my authentic self. Then why are you dressed as a chick?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you telling me you're a woman when you have a penis? But this is my authentic self. Your authentic self is a dude. That's just reality. Now, if you want to play pretend for whether you actually are dysphoric, in which case I honestly do feel bad for you, or you're a transgender who's, trying to get attention because you're such a boring fuck, nobody cares about you otherwise. The reality is you were never assigned gender, you were never assigned sex, it was noticed. That's all it was noted down. Dangerous, thank you. Gender identity, sexual attraction, not the same.
I tend
saw
to
this.
agree with that statement.
There was an article the other day, maybe a week or two ago now, in the Washington Post. And it's one that you're supposed to feel bad, because this trans person, this trans chick, is like, I don't tell people that I'm trans right away, because if I do, I might not get a second date. They judge me harshly. Like, no, they're not interested in your penis. They wanted to date a woman. What? You're lying to them for that first date to try to sucker them into some kind of emotional connection with you, because you're a fucking liar.
Yeah, it is manipulation, and it's disgusting. And we went through that saga before. Like, that was a whole thing for a while, where it's like they shouldn't have to tell you. And I'm just like, but that doesn't make any sense. Like,
No.
It doesn't make any sense. The whole reason that I'm even engaging with you to begin with is based on the perception of what you brought forth. So telling me that the reality of the situation isn't necessary, and that only goes one way, because if there's something, severe about me that you might want to know, like all the women that I have locked in my basement, like you'd be looking crazy if you didn't know about that and you found out about it later. So,
well, I wonder if the shoe was on the other foot, right? If this trans person goes on to a date and they're like, I'm not going to tell them I'm trans. And they think they're dating a guy. And they get to the second date and then the third date, and they're finally, all right, I'm going to put my hands down their pants. I'm going to give them a nice blowjob. And they reach down there and, there's a little man in a canoe. Do you think they're going to be like, oh, well, I accept you. What I really wanted was dick, but I guess taco's okay.
No, because their preferences are valid. Like, what they want is preferences. What everybody else wants is bigotry.
Yes, indeed.
Monkey, I'm not so sure you can make the trap argument here, because have you seen? That? Well, because they're all ugly as shit.
Well, a lot of them, most of them.
Yeah, like I every time I see these fuckers, I think it was at the bottom of that article. You had the male to female trans person with the gun did the video. That I actually saw you quote tweet it. Like, no one's looking at that and thinking that's a biological woman. No, none of these fuckers pass. The ones that do pass are usually working on Pornhub. They're getting offered to go work there.
Fair enough. No, I mean, the one that was in that Post article, you could see that it was a man. But if you just glance, you'd think, oh, it's a decent enough looking lady.
Well, what's funny, though, is like they'll come forth with statements like, people around me tell me that I pass for a woman all the time, and they tell me that they can't tell the difference or whatever. And the dude looked at him and was like, I've been a man my entire life. and nobody has ever walked up to me and reassured me of that fact.
Right?
He was like, never. I have never had a person come up to me and have to tell me that I pass for a man, that I really look like a man. He was like, it's never happened to any other man ever. So the fact that that's happening to you and that you find that to be reassuring, it's not the argument you think it is.
It's really not. It's really not. And the fact that you have to say passing in and of itself is like, see, you're not that thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to pass as a man. I just am one.
You know, the whole gender dysphoria thing, you know, with the suicide rate being 40% before and after surgery, it used to be quite a big deal for trans people. It used to be a very serious thing.
Well, that number's dropped.
Oh, what? Because there's so many people identifying as trans these days that aren't trans, and therefore the suicide rate has somehow gone down.
People who don't have dysphoria, mind you. So those suicidal thoughts and stuff that come with it, even if they put forth the idea that they feel the same way that trans people do, they don't. They don't actually have dysphoria. They're just playing the game. Just like all those people who pretend to have disabilities and shit on TikTok.
Well, dude, we have read articles going back to the Lords of the Night days where you had people like, I don't actually have to have dysphoria to be trans. Like, I don't think you know what the fuck it means then, you retard. They wear it as a costume.
Yeah, and it is encouraged for them to do so.
That's the only way men can get attention now.
I don't think it's just a degenerate thing, though, Monkey. I really don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's definitely a degenerate thing for a lot of them. But I agree with Satsu. It's definitely got to be like a self-esteem thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I feel like extreme like self-esteem thing, like especially with the younger ones.
What the hell's that woman's name? Helene something. Helena, I forget. But she's one of these detransitioners. And when she talked about how she got sucked in, it all was about getting affirmation on Tumblr from other Tumblrites. That's all it was. She needed their approval. And it's why it affects these young kids so much and why it needs to stop being pushed on them. Because you know what kids really, really want? Affirmation.
Yeah, and attention. And that's what I said. Like some of these dudes, especially like, you know, like what Alex was saying, like some of these people, they're creatures. But and you see them and you're just like, fuck, dude, like, oh my God. No wonder, because at this point, even if it's negative attention, even if it's not, you know, positive, these are people who would never even be looked at or talked to or, you know, like, and this is something. They're in the public eye. Just like, I don't know, oh God, I have to remember. There's one of those men's podcasts where he brings a whole bunch of women on to ask them questions about why they're sluts and shit.
Oh, I know. I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, most of them are fucking. But this particular dude, he had this chick on, and I swear to God, like she is Jabba the Hutt human form.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah,
Titanic, gargantuan fucking beast.
Just flat out gross in every aspect of the word, and that's not like, you know. I feel like this ain't really subjective. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, but it's like, you know, she and a lot of people are just like, I don't know how she could walk around and carry herself like that. I'm like, the bottom line is, regardless of how you feel about her and how she looks, she is out here getting hell of attention from a whole lot of people, and she is doing her own thing. And you can tell that she's happy with what's going on with her situation in her life, despite the fact that some people are probably looking at her like, ew, gross. She's like, whatever. I'm still on this podcast. I'm on TV and people are paying attention to me. What are you doing with your life?
Here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, because like the Slayton sisters, you look at those fat fucks. For all the people who told them they were fat fucks, there's even more who out there. You are so brave. You're a beautiful. Yeah, that bitch has a fat forehead. I've never even heard of that before. This has a fat forehead.
That's Tammy. That one. Yeah. The other one's married now
and has lost quite a bit of weight, actually. But
yeah.
When they got so much attention from this, they got their own television show.
Yeah.
And you can see them, and anytime they actually, you know, self-reflect, they start crying because they're fat slobs and haven't fixed themselves. But the rest of the time, yeah, they hey, we got attention, and attention is a powerful drug.
I mean, I look at the people that I cover, the people that I talk about, like not even people I've even made videos about, like that I talk about on Twitter. These absolute fucking animals don't care about what they do. They sit down on their little live streams twice a day, sometimes knowingly lying through their fucking teeth, spinning delusions of grandeur. And they've made it through this life this far. So, I assume there ain't too much actually wrong with them, and they just do it and they get attention for it. And, they have their Kiwi Farms threads, and, it's people, it's not just Shani, but it's people like Shani.
Sure,
that I can easily compare to Shani, that will do and say the most insane shit on a daily basis, and they know they'll get attention. They know they get people talking about them on live streams or on Kiwi Farms or wherever else. But they cannot deal with not having that attention. And I was going to bring up that the female to male young person that was working in Starbucks that got misgendered, that was uploaded a video to TikTok crying.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That person was legitimately crying.
Oh yeah.
That was terrible for them. Like that actually genuinely fucking hurt them. Like
we've raised such soft people. Yeah, that was absolutely real tears.
Yeah.
It just baffles me though that like their ideology is like folding over on each other, and like they don't really know what to do. Like for example, what was it? I thought there was a clip where this lady said she went to a coffee shop or something, and dude was like, he introduced himself and she introduced herself, and he was like, "Oh, what are you? You kind of look like a they them to me." And and here's the thing, she said, "I am. Like, this is what I identify as. It's in my bio. It's my entire existence. Like that's what I've gone around and told people." But the fact that he said that to me, the fact that he looked at me and instantly made that connection, it pissed me off for some reason. And I'm like, now why would that make you upset though? Like, think about that for a second. I'm like, you have built this as society where like now you have this certain type of look about you and people can see it because y'all are all basically carbon copies of each other now. Like you can look at a person and tell they got they them in their in their bio. Like
they're the new hipsters.
Yeah.
They have a uniform. And
she said she was mad that this dude glanced at her and immediately figured that out. Because she said she felt like she had placed herself in this box or whatever. And I'm like, yes, you did. You specifically set out to do exactly that. And you succeeded. And now you're upset.
They because
you're
a fucking
unique normie now. You thought you tried so hard to not be a normie anymore, but now you're back into that position.
Most of us go through this stage when we're teenagers.
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine,
When we were teenagers, the different fads that were around, depending on, what decade, whether it's the emos or like in my generation, those fucking bastards who stopped bathing because Kurt Cobain shot himself. Nobody went, oh yes, that is your real identity. Everybody just realized, hey, that's kids being stupid. They'll grow out of it.
Yeah.
And now we actually to Dylan Mulvaney went to the fucking White House.
It's the internet, man. It's the internet. The internet has given people access to too many fucking people. And with that comes an overabundance of validation from other stupid people.
I would agree with you, except I understand randos being stupid on the internet, but literally the president of the United States came out and said trans people are the soul of America.
Dude, he's fucking playing the game. Like I said, if they're a government official or above a certain level or whatever, they're all playing the game. None of them believe this shit. Just like I was telling Squishy before, I'm telling you, if you see a debate between a Republican and a Democrat and they're going at each other's throat, when the cameras go off, the motherfuckers at the bar having a drink, and they just like, man, we did it again. Those fucking idiots think we hate each other. Let's go to the fucking governmental orgy.
I hear you on that, except for there's other things they could be fighting about up on Capitol Hill and stuff.
Yeah,
this
but this
didn't
is
have
easy.
to leak in.
It's easy. It's like it's simple, and it's stupid enough to keep people fighting about it so long, because the best problems to cultivate are ones that have no solutions. Like there's no way to fix this.
But they again, I mean, they already have them. This to me, my honest to God, why I think this is happening the way it is money. It's money.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, money is always a central driving factor.
The amount of money that goes into a transition for the rest of your goddamn life is insane.
Oh yeah, and the amount of trauma that it creates within people to incentivize further treatment and keep these people locked up in the medical system is it's unimaginable.
the mental health side of it is astronomical. The hormones and the surgeries, if they choose to go through with the surgeries, of course.
Yeah, and if you have bottom surgery, you're going to have surgery again, period. Probably several throughout the rest of your life, because it's not real, and your body basically rejects it. If you get the axe wound, it tries to heal up. The penis, oh God, that fucking broke my brain. In What Is a Woman, Matt Walsh's thing, he talks to this trans man who got a fake penis and everything, and now they have to have surgery every couple of years because some of their pubic hair now grows out of their urethra.
Oh my God.
And there's no way to fix it. So they just have to go in every couple of years and trim it down.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a money thing. And pharmaceutical companies and hospitals, they have a lot of lobbyists.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I think the government, I hear you, Satsu, but they have so many things that they keep us fighting about: race and sex and taxes and guns. So much. Why this one? And the only thing that makes sense, what a smart man once said: follow the money.
Yeah, of course. And I obviously there are certain things that I focus on too, but it's a multitude of things. It is because every one of these organizations, groups, and special interest places or whatever, they all have their own agendas that's tied to and they all have a different method to go about it. They attack different facets of people. Some people have a vested interest in keeping people fighting about political stuff. When you, like you said, with the medical industry, they have their own interest in how to keep people down and fighting against each other. So it's all a system, and they're all working together.
I've showed the video. I know we've talked about it many times, but just to bring it up again, this lady up in front of this hospital board explaining why their hospital should do transgender surgeries. And literally it was all about the money. And they bring up a case of a clinic that started doing female to male transitions, and the female to male transitions alone that they started doing in there paid for everything else they did in that clinic.
Wow.
Literally everything else was just profit. So if you think I'm being a little bit overboard with the money, no, seriously, this is a shit ton of money. There's a reason they want to have transgender surgeries and everything covered by the government, saying it has to be done. They want to get it into that Obamacare bullshit because it's money.
I just realized something. This is why they created AI girlfriends. It's to stop the males, those lonely men, it's to stop them donning dresses, and committing crimes, so they can go be put in female prisons and get their rape on. That must be it. There's big money in AI too, so
Oh yeah.
Oh man. All right, look, I'm enjoying this conversation, but I got to get Aaliyah ready for school. So
yeah, we're only like an hour and a half, but I am going to go ahead and shut down because I wasn't even sure I was doing a show tonight. And if you guys hadn't joined me, this probably would have just been 45 minutes because Monkey is beaten. So if you can hang out for just a second, that's it.
This motherfucker just said tonight it's 7 a.m.
Blow me. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming and hanging out. Thank you so much for the donations. Really, really do appreciate it. Satsu, anything you want to show?
Here, I'll type my website in the chat. As you guys know, I started my business selling pre-seasoned flour mixtures and spice mixes to help supplement my business going forward. And I got a bunch of stuff planned, and if you want to support me, you can go to my website and check it out.
Understatement said I didn't do the Chevron article. I talked about it briefly yesterday. There's not a lot more to talk about until the case is settled. But I mean, if you guys want me to, we can go over it maybe tomorrow if I remember. Bear, anything you want to show?
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and throw my channel link and Twitter link in the chat. If anybody isn't following me, I don't actually recommend you actually follow me on Twitter because it's pretty fucking horrible. But there you go. If you want to follow me and subscribe to me, I will eventually get a video done. Eventually, possibly.
All right.
Maybe,
with that,
maybe.
We're going to wrap up. Bear, always a pleasure. It's been way too long.
Likewise.
Satsu, we've gotten to talk quite a bit lately. Yeah, you need to stop by even more. Love you, my friend. Thanks for showing up.
No problem.
Everybody, have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Fuck off.
Once there was a stream with a monkey and two black guys. No, I'm not.